What's going on is Anton from antondaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. MGM recently came out and they said that, hey, Bruno Mars, they're not necessarily in debt, right? None of the Bruno Mars crew, nobody that's associated with Bruno Mars. Okay, they didn't say that much, but they did come out and refute reports, and I'm going to share this with you guys right now. They did come out and they refuted reports about Bruno Mars actually owing MGM $50 million. Now, this is courtesy of Entertainment Weekly, in which they say the Grammy award-winning artist has no debt with MGM according to a spokesperson, right? Sounds like Bruno Mars can still afford to keep his 24-karat magic in the air amid rumors that the Grammy-winning artist, singer and songwriter owed $50 million in gambling debt to a Las Vegas casino. The establishment's parent company has come to Mars' defense and dismissed the chatter as completely false. In a statement provided to EW, Entertainment Weekly, on Tuesday, a spokesperson for MGM Resorts International says, "We're proud of our relationship with Bruno Mars, one of the world's most thrilling and dynamic performers. From his shows at Dolby Live at Park MGM to his new Peaky Ring Lounge at Bellagio, Bruno's brand of entertainment attracts visitors from around the globe." It then goes on to say in a statement that MGM and Bruno's partnership is long-standing and rooted in mutual respect. Any speculation otherwise is completely false. He has no debt with MGM. Together, we are excited to continue to create unforgettable experiences with our guests. And obviously, this comes after a News Nation report that quoted an unnamed source saying that MGM basically owns Mars because he has up to $50 million in debt, although he makes roughly $90 million as estimated a year. Goes on in the billboard that says that is muted in mutual respect. They basically citing the same statements. You can go over to MGM, denies claims that Bruno Mars has casino debt with any speculation is completely false over at Variety. And even Forbes, right? They put out a statement to all of the media outlets that basically said, listen, no such debt exists. Jen Michaels, Senior Vice President of Public Relations at MGM Resorts International, told Forbes on Monday that Mars has no debt with MGM, adding that MGM and Bruno's partnership is longstanding and rooted in mutual respect. This is the same statement, the exact same statement that they said to every other casino. And so what do we make of this, right? What do we make of MGM basically saying that Bruno Mars has zero debt with MGM Resorts? Me personally, if you're asking for my opinion, right? And obviously, I'm not saying that this is rooted in truth, but if you're asking for my opinion in order for me to use my context clues in order to solve for this problem, which is not really a problem, but it's just a conversation that we're having, I think that they're lying. I absolutely positively believe that they are lying out of their teeth, and anything that they can say in order to continue to create this illusion that Bruno Mars don't have a gambling problem is absolutely false. Me personally, I actually had so many different people reach out to me, whether it was in the comments, emails, DMs, and so many people that actually work in Vegas was like, yo, Anton, this is absolutely true. Now, I don't know how they would know if it was true, whether or not he owed $50 million or not, but they certainly substantiated the argument that Bruno Mars is a big-time gambler over in Vegas. Listen, over in Vegas, according to the people that hit me up on a regular basis, and some of them were friends of friends, and some of them were dealers, and some of them know people that talk about what it is that they experience as far as Bruno Mars. Other people hit me up and they said, man, Bruno Mars got some crazy demands and things that he require as far as, him being a whale and a high roller over at the MGM Grand Casino. Why wouldn't MGM be incentivized? Not saying that they are, not saying that any of this is true, but why wouldn't they be incentivized in order to protect one of their biggest assets as far as performers in Bruno Mars, right? You don't want people going over to Vegas and thinking or seeing Bruno Mars, and the only thing that's on the front of their mind is what they seen plastered on the internet as far as Bruno Mars being indebted and basically owing MGM Grand. I mean, he makes a ton of money, but then at the same time, again, why is his residency so long? Now, one can argue and say, well, his residency is so long because they have a great relationship and it's $90 million a year in order to play some shows. It's nothing to sniff at, right? and he puts on a great show. I heard he puts on a great show. I personally can't wait to see Bruno Mars. And I don't believe that his ability to perform has anything to do with his gambling debt. But I still don't believe that it's true, because why would MGM leave that out there? And more importantly, it's easy for them to say, and you can restructure a contract. You can say, oh, okay, you owe me until you do this many shows or whatever. It's easy for MGM to be able to solve for this. But to say that he is not indebted to the casino, in my personal opinion, based off of what I've seen, especially for people that they consider assets, meaning people that continue to pour into the coffers, whether it be the shows that you perform or the fact that you take the money that they pay you and then you give it back to the casino, so they basically getting it for free. It's in their best interest to go to you and lie. And so never believe 100% of anything that you hear from the representation of these large casinos or these major entities or these large companies or these pharmaceutical companies. I call it a white lie, meaning that it's so many different ways in which they could finesse this. Again, like I said, you could take a situation and you could say, well, Bruno Mars doesn't technically owe anything because he did a deal with them or he restructured his deal or whatever like that. And so they can come out and say, well, listen, that is false. That's not necessarily true. But they don't want to, give any details or anything like that. And again, I'm not saying that it's true. I'm just saying that I don't believe casinos. Casinos by default are liars, right? I mean, for real. If you start to get an edge or you learn the game, and if you playing blackjack and you starting to win too much, they will push you off the table even though you're not doing nothing illegally. I mean, like I said, I don't believe anything that's coming out of the mouths of the casino or the representation. And it's funny because I seen other people reporting on it. I seen the Breakfast Club with Jess Hilarious reported on it, and she just read whatever the printout was that the producer gave them, and Charlamagne commented on it, and she was just like, yeah, I knew that was a lie. That don't even make no sense. You make $90 million, whatever. Man, don't you realize that it doesn't matter? And I could tell that these people ain't never been in the casino. I came up, like my biggest viral video before 2019 or whatever, it did 1.7 million views in less than 6 months, was me talking about my experience and being a high roller at the casino. Like, I know the ins and outs of it. I talked to hosts. I've had multiple different hosts. As a matter of fact, at one place, I've had 3 different hosts: an online host, a host that was tied to me as far as making sure that they serve my group, and then I've also had a host that was personally making sure that I was taking care of as far as any shows that I was doing. Now, some people have hosts where, it's just one host, you got to get in line, and it's based off of how much you play. But I've given enough action in my lifetime. Action meaning that you have enough chips in play, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you've lost a whole lot of money. I've done enough and had enough action inside of these casinos to where I know what the sentiment is, and they will give you anything that you want, and they will paint the narrative however you want it to. Man, let me tell you something. Casinos will lie to your family if you tell them to. Your host, whoever it is that represents you. And you can't tell me that Bruno Mars don't have enough pull and enough power, or the people that's around him want to protect his image so much to where they're going to make sure that he looks good in order to make sure that the casino looks good, because they are an asset to him. I still believe, again, this is my thoughts, this is my opinion. It doesn't mean that it's true. I have not been able to substantiate it. I don't know what Bruno Mars's bank account looked like, nor do I even care about what his bank account looked like. I just hope that he's healthy and he's happy and he lives a long time, and that he ain't on that white girl. You know what I'm saying? Because I heard that he was on that white girl out there. And there's plenty of people that work at the casino that say that Bruno Mars is out here tearing down a bag. Tearing down a bag. And addiction knows no bounds. Doesn't matter how much money you make. Doesn't matter how you feel about it. Addiction knows no bounds, and it will chase you down. It will tackle you, and it will make sure, regardless of how much money you make, and this is the part that a lot of these people are not getting, right? They keep saying, well, I didn't believe that because the spokesperson said. And the spokespeople say a lot of things. That don't mean that it's true. Their job is to paint the casino and their assets in the best light possible, not necessarily tell the truth. And so, you got to understand it and really start to deep dive and read between the lines, in my opinion, in order to source this out. But I'm going to be paying attention. I'll be paying attention. And I'm going to be tapping into my sources and my people that reached out to me, and I'm going to understand what's going on, because I'm going to get to the bottom of this. One way or another, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I love you guys. I appreciate you. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that MGM practically owns Bruno Mars because of his bad gambling and that his bad alleged drug habits? Or do you think that it was just a completely false story that was just made up out of the blue from anywhere and nowhere, even though it's the biggest open secret over in Vegas? I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.